Prime Minister Narendra Modi's prompt response to US President Donald Trump's remarks marks the first political effort at the highest level to try and reverse the downward spiral of Indo-US ties. The India-US relationship had fallen into free fall since Trump slapped 25% Russian oil tariffs on India a month ago, on top of the 25% reciprocal tariffs. The latest Modi-Trump exchange on social media has brought some sharp relief to New Delhi after weeks of acrimony and bitterness. It also signals that both leaders are willing to offer each other an off-ramp after the bellicose rhetoric of the last month since the Trump-imposed secondary sanctions came into effect. Trump was the one who started the thaw. He was asked by a reporter at the White House about his earlier post on Truth Social, where he said that it seems like we've lost India and Russia to deep, dark China. Trump walked back on his comments somewhat, and he said he will always have a good relationship with Modi.
I get along very well with Modi, as you know. He's great. He was here a couple of months ago. I always will. I'll always be friends with Modi. He's great. Prime Minister. He's great. I'll always be friends.
This was seen as a potential opening in New Delhi and a window for the Prime Minister to reciprocate and match Trump's gesture. And that is exactly what he did. Prime Minister Modi took to social media platform X. He posted to Trump's video saying that he fully agrees and reciprocates the positive view of the India-US relationship taken by President Trump. This was a signal by both leaders that they are willing to scale back from the depths to which this strategic partnership had sunk in recent days. But there is also a deep concern in Delhi that given Trump's rather mercurial and Machiavellian ways, he could be back to lecturing India about Russian oil next week. Nonetheless, this was a gambit which the Prime Minister chose to take. Both leaders perhaps realized that too much bad blood had flown between Delhi and Washington, and that it will take the principals to reach out to each other. But there is also a larger context to why there seems to be this thaw. Earlier in the week, there were pictures from Tianjin in China which played host to the SCO summit. The photographs showed Modi, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin exchanging pleasantries. Those images had wide resonance in the American media. The strategic community in Washington started pushing back at the Trump administration, saying that America is risking losing India to China and Russia. But Trump administration officials like Peter Navarro and Howard Lutnick kept up with their attack dog style of rhetoric even over the weekend. That is when Trump stepped in and praised Modi and gave a sense of reassurance about the India-US relationship. Whether this will send a signal to the likes of Navarro and Besant and Lutnick to pipe down, that is yet to be seen. But Trump has spoken, and it is unlikely that his lieutenants are not paying attention to the signal from the top boss. There is also realization in Delhi that neither China nor Russia are a replacement for America. America still continues to be India's largest trading partner. The defense and security cooperation with America continues. Even as this trade war was being unleashed, the Indian and US militaries were engaged in the annual Yudh Abhyas military exercises off the coast of Alaska. Earlier in the week, there was also the official 2+2 diplomat-level talks that happened virtually with diplomats and officials from both the MEA and the MOD and their respective American counterparts. The idea was to show that institutionally, India and the United States are firmly aligned at the hip, and that it was business as usual, never mind the noise around trade and tariffs. The free fall actually started right after Operation Sindoor, when India and Pakistan went on a 4-day war. Trump claimed on social media and thereafter publicly on numerous occasions that it was he who stopped the war between India and Pakistan. Delhi refused to give him any credit, saying that the ceasefire was attained bilaterally. No government in India can afford to concede that there was any third-party mediation between India and Pakistan. But as the attacks and the rhetoric started stepping up from the White House and from Trump himself, there was a realization in Delhi that Trump wanted to be seen as getting more credit for ending the India-Pakistan war. There was also a testy phone call in mid-June where both sides stuck to their guns. Then in early August, Trump imposed the Russian oil tariffs on India, the only country in the world to have the additional sanctions of 25%. That was a red line for New Delhi. India rightfully felt that it was being singled out, even though China imported more Russian oil and it was not subject to any secondary tariffs. China, in fact, got a 3-month reprieve in its trade talks with the United States. Now the question is, will this lead to a substantive thawing of ties? For New Delhi, the second set of tariffs are a killer blow. It would render Indian exports completely uncompetitive in the US market. If Trump were to walk back on the irrational oil tariffs, India could then signal that it can live with just the first set of reciprocal tariffs at 25%. The question now is, for Trump, what will it take for him to pipe down? Maybe the first roll of the dice has already been played in this diplomatic checkers game.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.